third one is social media. And I got to speed it up here a little bit here just to kind of keep it going. There's a lot of information here. Social media, people have all heard about Facebook. And so this is where you go. The next generation down is the millennial generation. And that's, of course, Zuckerberg, who is the founder of essentially Facebook. Now, the other way, that Metcalfe's law thing I explained, the more practical way to understand this is this. And this is understand why social networks are so powerful. Is essentially you get exponential growth in social networks from a very interesting, simple dynamic. It's that if you start with one guy or one woman in a network and they say, I'm going to invite 2 people. And you say, OK, now there's 3 of us. And those 2 people say, OK, I'll invite just 2 people. Boom. You've just doubled. Doubled. By square, it's exponential. And those 2, then those 4, they say, OK, I'm going to just invite just 2. It's easy to do 2. Boom. Doubled again. And those 2, they do the same. Boom. They double again. And then you're back in that doubling thing I showed you, which is the next click would, boom, shoot it out to the edge of the stage. And the next one would, boom, shoot it out close to the edge of the wall. And then it would, boom, blast through the wall. And pretty soon you'd be across the street, right? That's what's happening with social networks. No one person is doing any much more work than just inviting 2 people. Or, whatever, 500 people in some cases. But so what's happened now is if you take the biggest countries in the world, China and India being the biggest, and the third biggest is the United States, Facebook is now the 3rd biggest country in the world. It's got 550 million people, and they don't have any peasants. Everybody's a college or high school educated person. It is an incredible group of people, and it's growing. It's growing, in fact, I don't know the latest numbers, but back when I was checking about 6 months ago, they were adding 700,000 new people a day. That's like the size of the LA Times every day. Crazy numbers. And then, of course, the numbers here, we could go through this in more time. But people say, oh, well, OK, what's the big deal? Well, one of the things is out of that 550, half of them use it every day. So you can say, well, it's not just you go on once. They go on every day. The average user basically spends an hour every day on it, the average user. So this is not just a trivial little thing. This is people, and they're moving an insane amount of data around, sharing it essentially, which is what shared content is all about. This is essentially the way people are communicating. Now, Twitter. I'm just going to, this obvious thing here to say Twitter, but people go, what's the big deal about Twitter? Well, think about it this way. I tell general audiences about this. Think about it this way. What if you could choose 100 of the smartest people you know in the world that you don't even personally know? Just, I know that guy, Bill Gates or something, or I know somebody who I'm interested in. And that person every day would tell you something significant about what they're thinking about and link you to what they think is really interesting to look at out of all the things to look at. And it was free. That would be a pretty cool thing, right? People would pay a lot of money for that. You'd think about it. In fact, but that's Twitter. It's like every day you can just connect, oh, what is that guy thinking? Wow, that's interesting. Oh, what did he say I should look? I'm going to look at that thing. That's social networking through Twitter. Twitter, very powerful. Think of Twitter as like a research tool. That's what it is. It's like, what are smart people thinking now? That's the serious way to think of Twitter. Anyhow, very powerful thing. Those are the numbers, of course. And it's the same curve I've been showing you guys. But anyhow, if you want to see, and this is the number of tweets. Those little tweets add up, by the way. There's 5 billion tweets that are posted every quarter. So that adds up to a lot of big, long books. So anyhow, it's not just little tweets. It's an insane amount of really extremely precise, interesting information.